This video is a story, not a framework, not a simulation, not a list of steps. Just the account of one person, what he started with, what he built, what went wrong, and what eventually worked. Most income success stories are told backward. You start at the outcome and work back to the beginning. This makes everything look inevitable, making it feel like the person had something you do not. This story is told forward, month by month, with the uncertainty intact. Because the uncertainty is the part that is most useful to you. Thomas is 53 years old. He spent 25 years in municipal planning, helping cities design infrastructure, navigate feedback, and manage project gaps. It is specialized, quiet work, important to those involved, yet invisible to others. By his early 50s, Thomas understood why large public projects fail. Not dramatic failures, but quiet ones, projects overscheduled, trust collapsed, unreasonable results. He had seen every version, knew the patterns. Identifying early decisions that would cause problems later. That knowledge lived entirely in his head. Never written down, never shared. To him, it was almost obvious, because he had seen it so many times. Thomas explored AI income after doing his retirement math. Enough to retire at 65, but no margin, no buffer, no help for his children. He described it as technically fine, but quietly uncomfortable. He considered options, more hours, consulting, aggressive investing. None felt right. Then, someone mentioned AI income. Not hype, but a structured version. Experienced people using AI to package knowledge for those who need it. Thomas was skeptical. But the core idea resonated. He had knowledge. He just had no system for sharing it. Thomas spent his first 2 months not building anything. He was trying to answer a question. What do I know that someone else would pay for? His initial answer was municipal planning. But that was too broad. Nobody searches for municipal planning advice. He pushed further. What specific problem does municipal planning have that I understand better? After weeks of thinking and conversations, he landed on something specific. Community engagement failure. The moment public process breaks down, trust collapses, and a project either dies or becomes permanently adversarial. He had seen it dozens of times. He understood the early warning signs. He knew what interventions worked and which ones made it worse. And he discovered through research that this problem affected not just municipalities, but nonprofits, developers, and private companies. The audience was larger than expected. Thomas chose LinkedIn. His reasoning was simple. Project managers, nonprofit directors, development consultants were more likely to be on LinkedIn than YouTube. He started posting twice a week. Short posts, one idea each. A specific mistake he had seen, a specific early warning sign, a specific principle. He wrote everything himself, used check to identify where his explanations were unclear. Rewrote those sections in his own words. Month 3 engagement was modest, a few likes. Occasional comments. Month 4 brought one post that changed everything. He wrote about a specific pattern he called the approval paradox. More community engagement sometimes produces more opposition, not less. The post generated 340 reactions and 47 comments. He had found something. Not a viral moment, a signal. The approval paradox was the thing people recognized. The thing they had experienced and never had a name for. Thomas built a guide around the approval paradox. Not a broad guide. A specific, focused resource on one phenomenon that his LinkedIn post had confirmed people recognized. 38 pages. Structured around 5 stages of the paradox with diagnostic questions. He priced it at $47. His reasoning was clear. This was not beginner information. This was hard-won, specific insight. That could save a project manager months of frustration. He announced it to his LinkedIn audience with a single post. First week, for sales, $188. Not transformative. But the people who bought it responded. One message said, "This describes exactly what happened on a project I managed 3 years ago." I did not have words for it at the time. Thomas read that message 3 times. Something happened in month 6 that Thomas had not anticipated. Two people who had bought the guide reached out directly. Not with questions. With a different kind of message. We have a project starting where this is going to be a problem. Is there any way to work with you on it? Thomas had not planned to offer consulting. He had been thinking entirely in terms of digital products. But the requests were specific and the problems were real. He offered a service. A 3-hour assessment conducted remotely. Of a project's community engagement strategy, with a written report identifying risks. Priced at $950. He booked both clients within 2 weeks. Month 6 income, product sales of $329. Service income of $1,900 from 2 assessments. Total, $2,229. He had crossed $2,000 in a single month in month 6. When Thomas reflects on the trajectory, he identifies 3 things he did not expect. The first was the importance of naming things. The approval paradox post worked. Because it gave a name to something people had experienced but could not articulate. Naming a problem is often more valuable than explaining its solution. Because the moment someone recognizes their problem in your words, they trust that you understand the solution. The second was that the service came from the product. He had assumed the product was the income. It turned out the product was the proof. The buyers who became consulting clients used the guide as evidence. They did not hire him because of his credentials. They hired him because the guide showed them he already knew. The third was that the niche was narrower than he was comfortable with. For the first 2 months, Thomas resisted going to narrow. He worried that community engagement failure was too specific. It turned out the opposite was true. The more specific he got, the more the right people recognized themselves. The general posts got moderate engagement. The specific posts performed significantly better every single time. Narrow was not a limitation. Narrow was what made the signal clear. 14 months after he started, Thomas's income system looks like this. The guide generates an average of 18 sales per month at $47. That is $846 per month from a single product. He runs 6 consulting assessments per month at $950 each. That is $5,700 per month in service income. His total monthly AI income is approximately $6,546. That number is higher than most examples on this channel. Not because the model is different, but because Thomas had deep, specific, genuinely rare knowledge in a field where buyers have real budgets. The principles are identical to every other example on this channel. Specific problem. Specific audience. Consistent content. Clear offer. Service income that grows from product credibility. What changed was the depth of the problem and the size of the budget the buyers had to solve it. Thomas's story is not a template. You are not a municipal planning expert. Your knowledge is different. Your audience is different. Your path will be different. But a few things in his story apply universally. The knowledge that feels obvious to you because you have spent decades around it is not obvious to the people who need it. The specific thing, the named phenomenon, the precise pattern, always performs better than the general thing. Every time. The product proves your credibility. The credibility generates service opportunities. The service generates the income that makes the rest sustainable. And the path from month 1 to month 14 contains uncertainty that no framework can fully prepare you for. Only the willingness to stay in it. Thomas started with 25 years of knowledge. And no system for sharing it. He built the system slowly. Got specific when it was uncomfortable. Let the product do the proving. Accepted the service opportunity when it appeared. 14 months later, he has an income system that generates more than he expected. From knowledge he had always undervalued. The question for you is not whether Thomas's path is yours. It is not. The question is this: what do you know that feels obvious to you? And is not obvious to someone who needs it? Because the answer to that question is where your system starts. If this story helped you see the opportunity your background positions you for, the AI Content System Starter Kit walks you through building a content system around that specific positioning. The link is in the description. And before you start, run your numbers in the free AI catch-up calculator in the description. See your specific retirement gap. See what a system like Thomas's could change about it. That context makes everything more concrete. The link is in the description.